An African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And the latest news today is Raven-Symoné. We want to know, is Raven-Symoné standing on delineation business? And as a lot of you know, when it comes to delineation, the delineation movement, it's becoming very strong amongst the grassroots and amongst the celebrities. All right. And a lot of people are having problems with it in more ways than one. Some people are having problems with it, like in a personal sense. They take an issue with it. And a lot of people are having problems with it because in the sense of they cannot beat it. They just get defeated from the delineation movement. All right. So we're going to show you what we're talking about here. All right. We're going to get into this video. We're going to get into a few videos because, like I said, we have celebrities who stand on, whether they realize it or not, delineation business, and they've been standing on it for a long time. Okay. So let's hear what Raven-Symoné has to say, because I think that she really, what she says in here really kind of hits the points that we've been talking about for quite a while. All right. So let's roll that.
African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom and generationally live in a country.
Yeah, people have a huge problem with us rejecting the African American tag now because it stops them from being able to appropriate our history and culture, and it forces them to stand on their own 2 feet and legacy that they come from.
Yeah, man, that's straight facts. I'm going to play this one more time because it's short, but because of the things that Raven is saying in this piece. All right. And we're going to stop and pause it just briefly. All right. Let's do this again.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black.
So she's definitely claiming that she's Black. For those of you guys who she might say something somewhere down the road, or she says something that some people might take, oh, she's a Caribbean or she's this. She definitely said, I am Black. All right. She made it very clear, and that she's not an African American.
African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have.
Now, here's another point. We get a lot of these Africans saying, oh, yeah, you African, you from West Africa, you Nigerian, you this, you that. Well, let me just play this one more time.
Generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have.
A tie to the country that she does not have. And a lot of us don't have a tie to the country. We had ancestors that have been here for hundreds of years. And that's no shade to the Africans, or because a lot of you have been pushing this. I even heard or seen a video with 19 Keys. I don't know if that was AI or if that's him for real. saying we have so much hate, right? So 19 Keys, you might want to check out my podcast channel or my other channel called Full Clips or Full Clip Reloaded, where I have plenty of videos where Africans is talking a little greasy. So I don't know where Africans and some of our Black Americans who might be Pan-Africans get this thing about we're hating Africans and Caribbeans when there's plenty of video evidence showing otherwise. All right. So getting back to Raven-Symoné, the ties to Africa. Right now, somebody will say, oh no, you African, you this, you that. I can't get on the phone right now and call one single person who you claim I have some ties to in Africa. I got a tie to in Africa, or a tie in Africa. Unless somebody in America moved over, and that's a relative of mine, moved to somewhere in Africa, that's who I can call. But if we took, let's say, none of my relatives, no family members, close or long or distant relatives, everybody lives in the USA, there's not a single phone number that I can call and that person picks up and say, and they can say they're my relatives. There's no way. Like I said, unless one of my relatives, current, close to me, whether that's brother, mother, first cousin, second cousin, or long distance, or cousins that are a little bit fourth, sixth, and seventh cousins, unless they went to Africa, moved there to live, and I get a phone number for them, that's who I can call. But they didn't start from Africa. They started from the US. So all this talk about, oh, you from Africa and you're this and you're that. Well, find the people I'm connected to in Africa. And then our mindsets are different. The way we think, how we see things, the way we cook our food, the way we address each other is different. The way we love each other, the way foundational Black Americans love other foundational Black Americans is different. Our energy is different. Our vibe is different. Our swag, if you will, is different. So the connection is not there. And again, that's no shade to any Africans or Caribbeans. I said one day I was going to, because I have the book here with Dr. Claude Anderson. And I think I have that book where he breaks down the culture of foundational Black Americans. For all the clowns who claim, oh, you don't got no culture, Black Americans have no culture, right? So again, Raven-Symoné, I believe, is standing on delineation business. All right, so let's play this again.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia.
Again, she mentions tied to that country. I have no citizenships in any of the African countries. I have no tie. Our inner spirit, if you will, it's not the same, if you will, of Africans. Like I can go visit African countries, but you're going to still, a lot of people say when they go to whatever African country they go to, they feel like they're at home. They feel like they're home again. But I guarantee you, if you start getting into their local politics, if you start making moves on the economic front, right? You make moves on the political front. You make moves on the social front in any of these countries. In Africa, let's see if attitudes change. Let's see.
Virginia that allowed for black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom and generationally live in a country.
Yeah, people have a huge problem with us rejecting the African American tag.
And she said generationally live in the country. We got generations of people before I was born. As my mom, my grandma's was younger. Back then, my grandfather was younger. And then before my mom and dad was born, then you had my grandma on both sides, mom and dad's side. They were younger, right? And then my grandparents, you have my great grandparents. As far as my great grandma, I remember her when I was very young. And then before my great grandmother was even known, then you had other lineages. You had her mom and her dad. And then keep going back. So generationally, as Raven-Symoné said. We don't have a generationally link to anywhere in the Caribbean or Africa. And like she said, it's not about any hate or anything like that. But a lot of y'all get butthurt as soon as we make the distinction. That's like an insult to y'all for some reason. Oh, and then I guess that's where, it kind of bugs me when 19 Keys, I heard he said that. Oh, it's like you hating on the Africans all the time. Africans think we're hating on them when we straightening them out, as far as letting them know that, hey, we got generations of people in this country. To them, that's hate. And they'll go run back to 19 Keys. 19 Keys, they hate us Africans, 19 Keys. But like I said, I know I'm not the only one, but we have plenty of video footage showing just the opposite. Just the opposite.
Now, because it stops them from being able to appropriate our history and culture, and it forces them to stand on their own 2 feet and legacy that they come from.
That is correct. It forces others to have to stand on their own 2 feet. When we delineate, now you have to stand on your business. You got to stand on business for yourself now. We've been standing on business for a lot of other ethnic groups for years. And that's what is expected. When you keep doing things and there's no appreciation for it, that's what's expected of you. But like in a relationship, you showing disrespect, you get tired sooner or later, and things are going to have to change. And it has changed. Now, with that being said, I'm going to play another video here. And you'll recognize this person. Let's just roll the video.
I want to finish off by asking you a little bit about your life. I read somewhere that you refuse to accept the term African American. And I interviewed a year ago, Smokey Robinson, and he said exactly the same thing. Here he is.
If you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family has been here, built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, fought in every war, okay?
Why do you find the phrase African American so objectionable?
Well, because it just seems like a hyphen. It's a hyphenated thing, an African American. I worked in Africa. I never lived in Africa. I'm an American through and through. I believe all the things that I'm entitled to in this country, to one vote, one person, to be able to speak one's mind. It is one of the great things about the country, and I'm proud of it. You know, there's lots of things we could be changing and lots of things we should not be doing, but we are always in this position. We are always evolving as Americans. What my biggest fear is that.
Now she's going to go on a little rant, but I'm going to go ahead and let the video play. She kind of gets a little bit, to me, some things are a little bit off from her, letting him know that she's not an African American. All right, but we're going to let it play.
People don't remember the responsibility that you have as an American to vote, to get out there and vote. I think of Ruby Bridges, the little girl we always see in the Norman Rockwell painting. Yeah. And she was being taken to school by 4 officers. And we have a bad habit of doing that in this country. We sometimes decide this is other, and we made it okay to institutionalize racism. But we have fought against this institution of racism, only to find ourselves back in the same trick bag where we're saying, wait a minute.
Now, before I go on, she said something very important. We have fought against this institution called racism. We have a history of fighting against injustices. I was saying earlier, we don't think the same. That's no shade to them. That's no hate. That's not a sign of, oh, he said, we're not the same. 19 Keys. We're not the same. That's hate. No, that's just clearly pointing out, hey, we think different. When it comes to injustices, we stand up to a lot of stuff. When y'all have injustices, y'all stand around, you look at each other, maybe you complain, I don't know. You allow colonizers to do this, but no. In our DNA, through generations, we stood up for one reason or another. Injustices. And then we so much have in our DNA of standing up for our own injustices that we stand up for other people's injustices done to them. That's just in the DNA. That's not hate. 19 Keys. It's not hate. That's just pointing out some differences amongst foundational Black Americans, Africans, Caribbeans. That's it. So she made a good point there.
What do you mean you're not going to teach Asian history or Black history? What do you mean woke? What does that mean? Is it woke to know your country's history, to be able to say, hey, we could be doing much better, but we are doing these things which are not good for our people, you know? And whether it's with women or people of color, it's all of these adjustments we all decided.
You know, some of our people got to still mention people of color. That's Whoopi. So see the difference between us also as foundational Black Americans. We'll call our own people out, but any Africans and Caribbeans say something out of pocket, will y'all call your own people out? If they said something out of pocket towards Black Americans, would one of y'all say, nah, that's not right? That's wrong about what you're saying about foundational Black Americans. Do y'all call your people out? We call ours out when it's needed.
To make as Americans to each other. And now I see that being eroded, and it doesn't scare me. That's what pisses me off.
All right, so I'm gonna play the same Smokey interview that you've seen in this video, but I think he speaks just a little bit more. And then we're gonna go to 2 more videos before we get out of here. All right. So here's Smokey Robinson again.
That you resent the idea of being called an African American, that
Yes.
you are a Black American.
Yes.
Explain.
I think that when they call black people who were born and raised for generations in this country, if you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family has been here, you know? Built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, you know, fought in every war, okay? So this is my country here. So I don't want to be called African American. I'm an American American. My people have died and done everything for this country.
There you go. Smokey standing on delineation business. All right. So let's get into the next video. You'll know who this brother is. Rest in peace to this brother. But you'll definitely know who he is when I play the video. So let's play this video right now.
American. I'm proud to be a Black American. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am. I have a lot of pride in who I am and dignity.
And there it is. Short and sweet. Michael Jackson even kept it on delineation. Proud to be a Black American. All right. Now, this last one is about 5 minutes long. It's of Smokey Robinson. I think Smokey could be a rapper as well, because he be rhyming in this video, right? So we're gonna check this video out before we get out of here.
I love being black. I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a Black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. I'm a Black American, born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult. Even if it was another black man who said it, a fight would result. Because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong. Till even the yellow niggas and the black niggas couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black. And we walked with pride, with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back. And black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough. Because now, here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of niggas just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black. And decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. And if you think that cause you think that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other nigga, I affectionately say to you, nigga, please. How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But not a brother whose family has lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations. New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago. Even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa, taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people there wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America is the leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? All the wonderful black Americans who served in the armed forces and gave their lives in all the wars, They didn't do that for Timbuktu or Cape Town or Kenya. They died for Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana, Texas and Virginia. Need I continue? And if you don't acknowledge that, if you don't claim that, then you're playing right into the hand of the white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan, who claim that they own this land. We went through the civil rights movement. Dr. Martin Luther King gave his life so that you could have equal status. We withstood the dogs, the fire hoses, the beatings, the bombings, the burnings, the maimings, the murders, and everything else they threw at us. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans. We've struggled too long. We've come too far. Instead of focusing on who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When's this shit gonna end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American, and that's your preference, then I'll give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you'd say, there goes a man who says it loud. I'm black. I'm black. I'm a black American. And I'm proud. Because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it. And I don't take it back.
And so there it is. All right. If all those videos I played don't make it very clear to Africans, Caribbeans, then I don't know what else is going to work. All right. So you just had a few celebrities here let you know what they standing on. Some young, some old. Some has passed away. All right. So the delineation movement has been spreading even before you might have heard the term delineation. Right? And again, like I said, if you can't see now from all the videos that I played, then I don't even know what to tell you. There's just going to be some people that's going to continue being hurt and upset about this delineation movement. But then you got some that say, oh, we all, they always say we all hating on Africans. We just hate on Africans. Which we know that's not true. But that seems to be the going thing, to say that FBA is a hate group. FBA hates all Africans and Caribbeans. But all you got to do is pull the videos up and, let's see who's telling the truth. That seems to be something that they don't seem to get, is the receipts that we constantly can pull up. And you can't scrub all the receipts because there's too many of us that's holding on to the receipts, and we can just pull them up at random. So shout out to Raven-Symoné. Let us know what you think about this one. She stood on delineation business. She made it clear that she's Black American. She's not African American. Smokey Robinson, Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Jackson, and a whole host of others. All right. Michael B. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, by the way, whose parents are from Louisiana and Arkansas in the South, not Ghana. Okay. Again, let us know what you think about this one. This is What's the 411 News, and we are out of here. We'll be back with another one. Peace. Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news, observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.